to Aware. We are dedicated to communicating information that inspires your positive growth and change. Are you interested in a peaceful planet? Are you interested in optimal health? Are you living with purpose? Are you enjoying your life? We realize each person can make a difference, and our mission is to empower your awareness. The choices that you make in every moment shape your life, and we encourage you to realize that you have your own answers and to always listen to your own truth. We invite you to stay aware. Hello, welcome to the Aware Show. It is such a joy to be here with you today because we get to talk about information that inspires positive growth and change, which is one of my favorite topics. It's kind of what we're doing all the time, growing and changing. And it's kind of the cycle of life. But what happens if you hit challenging times? What happens if you hit roadblocks along the way? What happens if what you remember your life to be doesn't look at all unrecognizable to the way that it is today, spiritually, physically, financially? What if these challenging times are starting to really kind of catch up with us? Joining me is an amazing healer. She's an intuitive. She is a brilliant influencer of self-healing and what that means to be a self-healer. She has helped thousands of people around the world with healing following her near-death experience that she had as a result of an accident. And she receives messages from the Holy Spirit. She has the abilities to really bring in that guidance and help people. So I absolutely love Kimberly Meredith. Her book, which I think is fascinating, and the topic of it is Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. And I think that's really where we are creating from these days, right, Kimberly, is the fifth dimension. I think that's where these solutions are. Tell me, what is the fifth dimension? And hi, my friend.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me on your show. I always love being here with you in this space because I truly believe that you work from that dimension too. It's a dimension that we are all grasping to want to be in and are moving in and rapidly expanding this energy right now. The 3D world is losing its momentum, even though it looks like it's gaining momentum.
Wow, interesting. So explain that. What does that mean?
It means that these are some of the most darkest times that we're in right now, where rents are going up. There's homeless, starvation. We're in a war, and poverty, health crisis, food,
It's
inflation.
heavy. It's heavy. It's a very
Um,
heavy dimension, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the rich don't see it as much, and maybe they do, and there is no middle class anymore. The poor are getting poorer, and it's a time that there's a lot of things, my hands are very dirty in it because I do healing for people that are extremely, extremely sick, and I keep myself available to the poor. I don't raise my rates. I actually lower them for people because I have a ministry that is open to people that need people like me.
Wow.
I'm a prophecy psychic. I'm a medical intuitive, and I'm a lot like Edgar Casey. Edgar Casey was a prophecy psychic also. And that is something that I am learning more and more about myself because I've been doing this for about 9 years. And in the 9 years, more and more is being revealed to me.
Uh-huh.
So when you talk about the fifth dimension, there's many dimensions. Dimensions are a theory that have been going on way before Kimberly Meredith. But there's no way you can get around that we are rapidly moving into the 2031 in the next 9 years, and embracing that we have to move into this higher dimension because we will not survive.
Okay, so higher dimension, that's the difference between the third dimension and the fifth dimension. Is it's higher dimension higher frequencies, that we create in different ways, that we heal in different ways, that it's not a 1, 2, 3 ABC sequential necessarily way of operating, even in business. You're going from 1 to 100, from A to Z. This is what I experience fifth dimension. It's creating in the quantum. It's a completely different experience of healing and creating and working. But I don't have any other words for it, and you would.
Yeah, it's mind, body, health, process, energy, field. Maybe you would say everything involved in it is rapidly expanding higher, meaning that something maybe put together in a third dimensional energy maybe 5, 10 years ago, now it's expanded to a higher dimensional frequency now in fifth dimensional quantum. So this product now is not going to really help you, that was made 10 years ago, now that is in the fifth dimensional space that we're living in now. So more organic lifestyle. The relationship you had maybe 5 years ago now needs to be upgraded into now where we're at. So what's worked for our world maybe 20 years ago is not working for our world now. And what's going to work for our world in 10 years is not working, is expanding right now, happening to us, the upgrading for. So maybe this book, Awakening Fifth Dimension, is maybe for somebody that can expand their brain into the next 5 years. So this may be way ahead of what somebody may read this and go, wow, this is a little over my head right now. But other people may go, oh, I get this.
I think so, that if they're experiencing the pain and the depth and the heaviness of life, and there is another way of creating, this is the same conversation we've been having about creating with wishes fulfilled, or intending your future, or a law of attraction. This is all different words for that. And this is all done with the power of spirit, with your higher self, but really with the power of spirit combined with that higher self of yours. And I do want to go back to how you got here. I want to hear a little of your story, and I want to continue in this conversation. But how did you discover all of this? What happened that catapulted you into that fifth dimensional creating?
Yeah. So I often say, well, I'd like to just pull the covers over my head and go back to that time before this happened to me and go, time out, and just kind of go back to my old life sometime where it was a lot, maybe third dimensional and,
Uh-huh.
and simpler.
What was that life?
Well, it was really a simple life where I would just kind of, you know, I had my life. I worked as a nurse assistant and I worked on television shows, and I would go hiking and I would go to the mall and I would hang out with my fiance, and I had a really easy life, and it was fun, and I would go shopping, and it was kind of more of a normal life. And but it was hard too, because I worked in nursing and I worked on some of the heaviest floors possible where people were coding. We had 7 codes per day or more. And I also worked in the entertainment world, which people think is super hardcore, but I really enjoyed it. I liked working in the entertainment world, and I worked on lots of TV shows, and I was story editor, and I did a lot of on set setting up the sets to make them look as real as possible for medical reality. So I worked on Brothers and Sisters, Grey's Anatomy. I was on there for several years. I worked on All My Children. I worked on many, many, many shows. My Sister's Keeper. I actually worked on some of the toughest hospital floors you could ever speak of. And I did have several beautiful actresses die in my arms that didn't make it. And I had never in a million gazillion years think I was going to become like this guru sort of, my gosh, this kind of responsibility
Yeah.
where I am like a hands-on healer and spiritual teacher and best-selling author now, and also where people come to me and I scan their bodies and find things in them that they have no idea that they have. Like, it has nothing to do with nursing, because when you're in the nursing world, they have to go get an MRI and they have to go get a scan and all that. But now you can sit in front of me and I'm like, do you know that you have a lump in your breast? And I'm getting hot flashes. And that responsibility is, really a different kind of responsibility. And that I could say to the person, you need to get that checked. But I know in myself, in my heart, that it's like 4-stage breast cancer.
Uh-huh.
And
Wow.
I already know that
Wow.
they have that. So it's like a whole different world for me now. Like, I have to have that with me. And then also that I have tapped into this source, that I can actually lay my hands on this tumor, and I can, if the person wants this energy to accept it, this is the fifth dimension where we can actually dissolve it.
Ah, wow. So this is really what you've been experiencing. I know you've had a couple of people that this happened with in your uh practice, right?
Yeah, more than a couple. Yeah.
More than yes. Every time I see you, there's another story that you share with me on a person who didn't know they had a specific type of cancer, and you were able to warn them and they got early treatment, or however you worked with them. I do find that as it, it's so interesting, your life, because you came from this experience. You could never have known what you're doing now, yet there was remnants of it. And
Yeah.
it's almost like your soul wanted to remember who you were in a past life. Have you ever had that experience of the memory?
Well, the other thing is very interesting, because I do have people that come to me and ask me about, did you feel your memory was slashed out or you were reprogrammed or something? And um, as a little girl, when I came into the world, I my grandfather was good friends with John Huston, who is a director, and they built yachts. My grandfather was a fisherman, he had yachts, and John Huston did, and they were in Catalina a lot. And my grandfather had said to him in passing, because my grandfather wasn't in film, but my grandfather became to get in film because of John Huston, because John Huston's a famous director. But my grandfather built yachts and was a fisherman. And my grandfather had mentioned him. I have a granddaughter, and she's blinking a lot with her eyes, and she's rubbing her hands and doing healing. And she healed my wife with her asthma. And he said, really? Yeah. He goes, let me get you a camera. So he gave my grandfather a camera, and
Huh.
my grandfather got into filming me at a young age. And I remember seeing this camera, like as a baby with my eyes and crawling, going around and filming me. And I just remember, like, all the time, this camera going around and me not liking it, going, like that. And I would crawl around and him like filming me. And it was really bizarre. And then as I got older, they would follow me around. But my mom was too young to have me. She didn't want me. She never did. And she just would say, stop it, stop it. She slapped
Uh-huh.
me. So I stopped the blinking. I forced myself to stop. And I remember as I went on in the years, I kept always seeing like paranormal shadows and saying, I hear somebody in the other room talking. My mom says, no one's there. And I kept sitting up at night, like a little Indian style, and talking to spirit. And
Mm.
I always was connecting to spirit as a child, always trying to heal kids at school. And then, so flash forward, after I had the accident, my eyes started reappearing
Ah.
and blinking again and coming back to me. But what happened, which is very interesting, is my whole life, a lot of chunks of my life just left. So I cannot remember big
Mhm.
parts of my life from
Mm.
the past.
Yeah.
I definitely feel I had sort of a switch go on, because my speech changed, and I became a full-blown trans channel. My diction changed, became more English, more London speech. And as I started becoming more and more of a channel, lot of my clients say, you should live in Sussex, you should live in London.
Uh,
A lot of
yes.
things switched with me.
What do you hear when you say medical intuitive? I mean, when you really get these messages or guides, what are you getting when you get that communication?
It always comes from the left ear. So I always hear the message from the left ear, um, the medical intuitive, and also when an afterlife being comes in, a soul, they sit on my left shoulder. So I feel the hand come to the left side, the being, the soul. They'll I actually feel the presence of the person later, lay their hand on my left shoulder. And then
Ah.
many of them kind of fight in to talk. So if it's one relative, they'll kind of push the other relative away. Actually, feel their
You get
energy.
excited.
Yeah, they'll push the other one. They want to push the other side. And then I hear the medical stuff always on the left side, never the right.
Hmm. Hmm. And that comes through accurately because you have verified this with working with people over 9 years, and this is just a gift. And I don't know if it's something that everyone can do. I think you kind of have to have this come in. I mean, it changed for you, and I hear about this is a very common trait of near-death experiences is that psychic awakenings occur, and it helps you. It's same thing happened with me, Kimberly, and I don't know if it just knocks your conscious brain offline for so long that you only have the other dimensions or other unconscious to operate from, and that becomes stronger. I mean, I'm sure there's a medical reason for it. I don't know.
You're absolutely 1,000,000%. A friend of ours recently just watched me. I don't know if I could say his name, Alan Steinfeld. He
Yeah.
recently watched me on a show a few days ago, and he said to me, "You're not the same medium psychic that I saw a few years ago. You're definitely much different." And I said, "Yeah, my work is changing rapidly." And this is just in the last few months. And now I'm working in the eighth dimension.
Oh,
I've
what is this? Tell me, what is this? All new.
It's moved up to a higher dimensional frequency. It's much different, it's faster, and now I'm blinking in rapid codes. So they're coming in and talking to me in different frequency and codes. And now my eyes used to just do, left eye yes, right eye no, different things like that. But now there's different signs and codes and symbols that they're talking about. And this is just a whole new thing. And they're communicating from all different levels, and it's a higher dimension, which is past the fifth dimension.
Who is they? And then how do we utilize this in order to cause ourselves less pain, Kimberly?
Yeah, it's my next book I'm writing to teach people how to utilize it more. I feel like it's um part of teaching us as a whole global humanity that it's understanding that everybody has access to learning, that we all are born here as people that can live in different types of dimensions and frequencies, and learn that we don't have to stay stuck. We can unblock ourselves all the time. It's slowing down. It's listening and understanding we all are attached to numbers and frequencies and codes. So like, for instance, this show has a frequency and a code. Our home has a frequency and a code. Our energy has a frequency and a code. Our relationship has a frequency and a code. And as we understand those codes, we break them and we move forward and grow. So
Mm.
nothing ever stays the same, and nothing ever, we always are in constant change and movement.
Isn't that the truth? That change is what causes the pain, though. We have this fantasy that we think things need to stay the same. And the pain comes from things changing, but maybe they change for the better. I have a friend who is going through a business change, and their business, like many industries after the pandemic, has declined so much. They're having to move their space and downsize and lay off people.
Yes.
And I said to him, I said, I just feel this is the best possible thing that's going to happen to you. And he said, yeah, but it's really painful now. And I heard him, it is painful now. So how do you
And
help
I,
somebody like that?
yeah, I just did a reading on him, and he's a 7 and a 3, which is the 7 is laying upon the spiritual growth. He's actually a very, I don't know, I just feeling like a very calm spiritual person. They're showing me he doesn't like to do stuff like that because he's a very chill person. Then he
Uh,
has a 3 underneath him, which he has is a very strong blessing upon him. He's a very blessed person. So
yeah.
it's very hard for him to do something like that. But they're also telling me I don't know if he's in a spiritual community, but
Biking community. It's a biking
there's
community.
a community. Yeah.
Ah, very
They're also,
strong. That he
yeah.
created.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're showing me a community, but they're telling me though he's going to move forward anyway in the next few years, and it will still keep growing in some way.
Mm,
So they're telling me that will work out. What's happening right now, there is a lot of changes, but and a lot of movement and a lot of things that people are going to have to do. But in the 2025,
mm,
a lot of people are going to come together and support each other. A lot of brothers and sisters are going to have to support each other. There's going to be a lot of moving around. Of course, look at Amazon, look at Google, look at IBM, look at all the people that are laid off. Look at people that have so much credentials are working at Instacart. I mean, there's people that are just having to like
yeah.
taking a breath there and just
Yes. Yes.
it's really a humbling time. It's
Yes.
a humbling time. Yeah.
So that's very interesting you say that. Yes, because so many people I know are going through layoffs and going through difficult times and not knowing where everything's going. I look at it from as a result of the pandemic. This is the 4 years later where we're finally starting to feel the effects of the world shutting down. This is a not been addressed as much, and I felt it because we tried to get back to normal so quickly after the pandemic. We tried to just like, okay, that just happened. Let's just go back to normal and get back to normal. And there are, repercussions from everything we experienced in that very unprecedented time. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to take the people to put it back together. I hate to say that, but that's what it's going to be. It's
Great.
people to put it back together because politically, I don't feel they can do it. When I say politically, they're going no. When I say the people and the power of the people and the communities to help each other, to put a hand out, to support the brothers and sisters, to really look at that in a big way, they're saying it is. We may have to let some people, you know, move them a little bit here and there, but also put their hand out to others. They
Yeah.
keep showing me the sign of the 7. The sign of the 7 is the Christ consciousness, is being calm, being kind, being loving, not overreacting. For people to understand that it's about being of spirit. The sign of the 7 is the Christ light, is God, is the omnipresent. The sign
Pure
of the
love.
4, the sign of the 4 is the sign of the angelic realm. They're showing me the 4. And the 4 is also about coming from the heart. The sign of the 5 is more about money, and that is not at the top right now. Money is coming in at the number 3 down. Money is not at the top. That's not at the top. That's not. The sign of the 7, which is the Christ consciousness, the sign of the 4 is coming from our heart. So if people are coming from 5 first, we're not going to work. It's not going to work right now.
Huh? So it's 4 and 7. What are you talking about at the top? Tell me what you're referring to.
When I'm seeing how we're working in the next few years to move our world forward. So a lot of people are more money driven. The guides are saying that's not going to work for our world right now. Can't be a money driven world right now. Has to be more spirituality, has to be of kindness. This is how we run our world, not from a money driven world anymore. That's
Wow.
what
It does help to have money because it does help for living and for food.
money comes from kindness, genuine abundance. God wants it to be run with that. Like that's how do we run the world like that?
Yes.
That's why it's not working right now. It's falling down because we're not coming from what God wants. God wants us to be kind and loving and look, it has to come from being genuine and kind and loving.
That's why political is you got to know on because that's the opposite. It's divisive and tearing apart and mean. Mhm.
And also, it has to be, they're talking about the real 2031. So when we talk about being of truth and genuine and the prophecies like Edgar Casey, seeing is believing,
Yes. Yes.
unveiling. And when you see it and you're knowing what's happening. So basically God is also saying to me, the Holy One, that we don't need to have people forcing anything at us anymore. So it's all going to really be very apparent. Yeah,
Mm.
it doesn't have,
So
yeah.
it's all about loving and serving others and being of service and helping others. And would this be the way to healing, not only our planet, but ourselves?
Yeah, so they keep showing me the number 10, which is 2033 over and over again. And so yeah, so rapidly people are healed faster. Rapidly people are, so money is not an issue. Financial abundance is not an issue when you keep walking this path.
Oh, so just do what you love and the money will come really is.
It's not about do what you love and the money will come so much. It's doing for others, serving others, helping your brothers and sisters. Not just a particular group, though. It has to be worldwide spread. It can't be just, oh, I'm going to stay over here, I'm going to stay over here, I'm going to stay over here. It has to be of service. So I have a lot of people that come to me from all over the world that come for help. It's not just this spiritual group. It's not just this group, not just that group. It's feed. Remember how God said, feed the poor, help. Don't just help this society. Don't just help. It has to be, it can't just be, this is a rich group. This, why are we having the middle class? Why is the middle class gone poor? Why is there in a middle, there's no middle class anymore?
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Why
barely. Yes.
why is there 10% rent increase? Why are they giving people $400 rent increase?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 400%. It's
That's
absolutely yes.
That's
Mm-hmm.
because things are out of control. So that's what they're saying. It's like this has to be brought back down and reviewed over again and figured out.
When will it be? When?
So they're telling me they're so cute. When they're saying I'm looking at 2025.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. I can feel that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not looking at 2024 right now. They're going, um,
Yeah.
uh, I'm feeling like 2025 is going to be a brighter year.
Yeah, that's not so far away. That's not so far away. So in the meantime, be of service. But 2025, what can we do to prepare for
Yeah.
that?
So, yeah. So like for instance, because I know a lot of people that listen to the show are very spiritual, we're
Yes.
a spiritual group. So when you look at something, just for a little advice, when you look at something and go, well, I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to make any money. Don't be sad about that. Look at it and say, does this feel good in my heart? So for me, I do my 1 to 5 frequency thing. So 1 would mean like they don't like that. 5, so you could do like the swaying thing of your body. Like if you stand straight and you maybe sway to the left, meaning not so good. Maybe the right feels like it's good for you, or whatever tingling sensation you get in your body. But if you feel good about doing it from your heart, I would go for it because
Mm.
you're helping somebody right now. And you might say, well, Kimberly, I need to make money. I need to make funds right now. I do these soul frequency readings, and the soul frequency readings are really very accurate. And sometimes you just don't want to adjust. Like you really like doing, maybe you're a healer or you're a reader, or maybe you like the business you're in, but maybe you need to move it a little bit. You need to revamp it a little bit. Maybe you're a holistic healer or you do weight loss program, but maybe you need to add something to it. Maybe you want to do like holistic vitamin health, or maybe there's something. So I do that a lot. I do readings with people, right? I have a mentorship program, and I do things where sometimes you may want to adjust, and then also do some free. Maybe you want to adjust your rates.
Mhm.
Maybe you want to just,
Do something for service as a service project. But now you do, speaking of service, a show that you do readings on, right? So tell me a little bit about that.
yes, I've been doing my medical intuitive miracle show on, it was on KCAA, now it's on Blog Talk Radio on Tuesday nights. And I love it. I bring guests on, and I hope you're coming on soon. I think you are.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah.
We can talk
And I,
NDEs. Yay.
yes, experiences. And yours was phenomenal, unbelievable. And I've been loving that, love doing the show for quite a while now, a few years now. And then I also have my Mother Mary prayer circle group that I really love doing on Saturday once a month at 2 o'clock Pacific time. Um, and
All
for
Saturdays at 2 p.m.
once a month, yeah.
Once a month. Yeah.
Started a Spanish channel, so Spanish speaking channel. And so we do the Spanish service all the way through. And this is very important because we call in the rosary. We do the rosary in the beginning.
Yes. Very nice.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm half Jewish. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but I do, we do pray, and all religion, doesn't matter what religion you are, and there's men and women, and we say the rosary, and it is chilling. It is chilling. So if you've never said the rosary and you want to learn the rosary, come to this group. You will definitely feel this
Yes.
energy.
And you can find all this out on Kimberly's website, thehealingtrilogy.com, right?
Yes. And then after that, this is quite an extravaganza, this Mother Mary healing prayer circle for people that are suffering financially, illnesses, mental, emotional. We always have a lesson. So this next Saturday, it's about Mary Magdalene. I don't know if you know about her, but
Friends of Mary Magdalene.
yes.
Magdalene.
And then May 13th, May is the month of Mary. So May 13th, we're doing the story of Fatima,
Ah,
the appearance of Fatima. And so once a month on a Saturday, we do a lesson of Mary, and there's teachers that come in. So I'm not the only one there. We have 4 teachers. So every once a month on a Saturday, we have about 4 teachers that come in, and each teacher will teach something about Mary and also do the rosary. And then we have the one teacher that speaks in Spanish. The whole entire 2 hours, she does the service in Spanish.
oh, fantastic. Very, very good. I love how, I mean, inclusive and wonderful all this, because you want to, again, don't leave anyone out. The fifth, these higher dimensions are for everyone. And when the more people that understand compassion, creating from this level, the more recognized, I guess, maybe stronger that signal becomes. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yeah, and then we're doing yes, you're exactly correct. We're doing activations in the room. We do healings. We call people from the outside of the circle. We bring them in the middle. So if you've got cancer, if you've got
Hmm.
diabetes, thyroid, I go around the room and I find people. We bring them in the circle. So we speak in Hebrew. We speak in other, languages, and we lay hands. Dude, this is Zoom, but I'm getting chills right now. We're sending healing, and everyone starts oming. It's really
Wow, that
and
is next
yeah,
generation healing. That's the next step of healing.
it's like this really interesting vortex. And then at the end, this is like 2 hours, like being on Disneyland. And then at the end, people put in the prayer chat. So we call out the prayer chat at the end.
And so you create this frequency, this vortex, and then bring in yourself and others that need healing. I think this is the next level of healing. You're really making it accessible to everyone. And do you explain more about these numbers and signs and symbols that are coming to you?
Yeah, I do some of them in there. I do, so on my website, I have sessions called Soul Frequency and Soul Codes. And I do these at the expos. I will be doing the New Living Expo in April. My classes are Messages from the Afterlife, and I'm doing Soul Frequencies and Soul Ties up there also. So I do
Very
them live
exciting.
at the expos.
And you have another event coming up, I think in May, right? Lots of
Wait,
events.
I forget.
You can just check Kimberly's website. It's thehealingtrilogy.com. But I definitely love the Mother Mary events. I love what you have to bring in all religions into this experience. It's all about frequency, practice,
Yeah,
ritual, intention. Doesn't matter the faith.
no, it's non-denominational.
Mhm.
And um and it's free. I mean,
Oh
it's
my goodness, that's even better.
donate
Wow.
to come in, and we always have a different speaker that we're featuring. So we're always looking, if you want to email us and you feel like coming in, and like we have Laura Eisenhower. I don't know if you know her,
Yes, of
and
course.
have Cheryl Murphy. She's a medium psychic. We have Kelly Eckhart. We have a lot of people that like to come and speak and come in and do their work, and yeah, so I feel like it's important to get the energy healing out and teach people that they can tap into this higher frequency and be healed. And it can be through Zoom, television. I mean, it's just like God is everywhere. The spirit guides, your spirit team loves you, and they're here for you. The angels, the spirit guides, and the code frequency numbers are very interesting because everybody's born with a number, and the number is connected to your guides. And so I'll do like maybe like Braden used to talk about the Elohim code numbers. So
Different
it's
than numerology and all that. It's just a different coding system. Okay.
absolutely. So mine has a different coding system, but like if I was to say when you came into the world, Lisa, you could ask me, what is your first number? You could ask me.
Okay. Well, what was my first number when I came into the
Okay.
world?
Okay. So they gave me three numbers for you. The first number, they're saying you came in the world as a 4, so you're like me. And then the second number, they're saying you're a 7. And the third number is you're a 3. So you're a 4. You came in the world absolutely to serve people. You're kind-hearted. You always come from the heart. Whatever you do, whatever project, everything is from the heart. And so like on the other side, when people come in and they're like, so let me explain it to you. So when you're reincarnated and people pass over and they're like trying to make contact, they'll hold 4 fingers up, they'll go 4 like this. So that means when you were on the other side, maybe they're saying, they're telling me you were reincarnated. And they're saying when you were in the past, listen to this, you were an angelic being from the past. So you came back again to walk the earth to help again serve. And then you are a 7, which means you are the Christ light consciousness. You are a spiritual being to spread higher consciousness. So you're a 7 like Christ. And then on top of that, because not everybody has these numbers, everyone's numbers are different. You're a 3, which means you are a 3 means God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. 3 means you have a special gift. But I didn't do all the numbers. They go up to 10. But these are very important numbers because this is my next book's about signs and symbols, soul frequency. My next book's about that.
It makes sense because I've had 3 people say to me this last week, "You're an angel." Just I've helped them with various things, and I didn't even know that I had done that. And it was that has come through so many times. It is always what I want to teach is that path of paying it forward. That is my dharma.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I've been doing these for about 2 years now because I want to keep practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. So I have to make sure they're absolutely correct, over and over. I've done about 700 of these readings, and I want to make sure they're correct before I start writing all of my book. And so far, they are very on, like you could have been starting as a 5, or you could have five different ones, but they are definitely telling me you are really a strong 7, meaning you're really moving on that spiritual path of the
Wow,
Christ.
I'm sure there's a lot of people like me as well that listen to the show that have this desire to help people just like I do. We just created this thing called Rising Stars, and Rising Stars
Oh,
is
good.
interviewing people that have want to bring their message of hope and awakening to the world. And so I interview them on whatever their message is. And it's like that rising tide that lifts all boats. And it really is spreading not just the best-selling authors' messages, but everyone's messages. I
Yeah,
love that part of it.
so beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you're doing that. But everybody's codes with me,
Mhm.
okay, like the codes that I get from the spirit team,
Yes.
they are different. So everybody has their own path though. Like me,
Okay.
I'm not what you are. I'm like a 4 and 333 because I am not doing what you're doing. I'm doing that healing. So I'm the
Right.
333. I'm the 4. I'm like here to do the service, but the 333 often is somebody that's a spiritual teacher doing the healing. So like that, they got me over at the office.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Help. We need help over here. Yes.
But you know, we'll see. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the bottom line here. I mean, Kimberly's book about awakening to the 5th dimension is
Yes.
discovering your own soul's path to healing. And that's kind of what your book does, is it has this basis of loving freely and getting beyond worry and fear and accessing that 5th dimensional creative space. It's a totally different space. Many of us are already doing it. We just don't maybe know it. And it's something that can help us understand how we can access that information and create on a different level and cause less pain. Yes,
Absolutely. And also understand how we're going to move through these next few years and
that's a
get,
big one.
get the knowledge and not feel there's a lot of people exiting right now, emotionally exiting and passing away because of diseases. And also, you know, I'm here for you. So you know where to find me. I'm at thehealingtrilogy.com. I'm here for you emotionally, physically, and I love helping. And so,
Oh, well, it's beautiful. I love that. How do we move through these next 3 years? And that is what Kimberly has, her message is to help us how to move through these next 3 years. Thank you for validating the fact that it's tough. Thank you for validating the fact that we're going somewhere. And the bridge between here and there is to be of service, to help others, to be compassionate, to lead from the heart, and it will come.
yeah, and
Wonderful message.
it raises our vibration. We feel better when we're helping somebody else. Don't stay on the couch and just watch television.
Yep. Yep. Be a
Let's
part of it. I mean, that
meditate.
was
Let's
the lovely part.
exercise.
of the eclipse was the communities that were witnessing this miraculous nature event. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Yes. And
Very bonding.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. You're such a joy and a beacon of light. I see you, another light beacon in the world, and I'm really, really grateful that we're in each other's spheres. Thank you.
Oh my God, I have such gratitude for being and you being in my life. Oh my gosh, thank you so
You
much.
too.
Thank you so much for having me
Oh,
on the show. Thank you, everybody.
thank you so much. And thehealingtrilogy.com is where you find Kimberly Meredith. And also you can listen to the Aware Show on our podcast on demand. So if there's something to hear that you loved, listen to it on the podcast, share it to someone with someone, because that's the whole point of this. Sharing is caring. All right. Thanks, Kimberly. Oh, you're wonderful.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.